Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inside Scoop. My name is Dan, and I'm the primary content creator here on I Feel Like Learning. Inside Scoop is a series where I'll be talking to students in a wide variety of majors to see what it's really like to be enrolled in their specific major programs. We'll also discuss the career opportunities that these students have after graduating. Welcome to Inside Scoop. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inside Scoop. As usual, I'm Dan, and I'm here with another guest you guys have heard of, honestly, pretty recently, probably. We're back with Deeraiya. Deeraiya, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
If you watched Daria's previous episode where we talked about her religion major, we're actually recording these back to back right now. But for you guys, it'll probably be around maybe a 2-3 week gap or so. I haven't really quite planned it out yet. But yeah, definitely welcome back, Daria. Today we're gonna be talking about her other major, as we kind of alluded to in our previous episode. So I guess let's get right into it. So, Daria, what major are you?
As you said, I'm double majoring in religion and political science, and today's episode is about political science.
Yay!
Oh my God.
So I guess just what attracted you to choosing this political science major?
Well, I knew that I was going to law school after undergrad, so it just made sense to study politics and government. And I also found it really interesting because of all the craziness going on in the news recently. So I was like, okay, let's do this. So I think I was just genuinely interested.
That makes sense. I feel like a lot of people, when you're in high school, like you have these general interests, you see what's going on in the world, and kind of you use all these outside factors to pick your initial major. But it's cool that you've kind of stuck with it throughout all of college, because I know a lot of people who end up switching out because maybe their interest didn't exactly match, or maybe what their perceived notions of a major maybe didn't exactly match the actuality of it. So it's cool that for you, you've kind of enjoyed it throughout your whole time in college.
Yeah, and I mean, I know what you're talking about. This is like a tangent, but whatever. I took a sociology class in college and it was not good for me. And I really thought I was going to minor in sociology, but it was not good in my opinion. So then I was like, no. So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. For me, I thought that I wanted to be a psychology minor. I've always kind of enjoyed psychology, and I took AP Psych in high school, and that was kind of fun, I guess. But then once I got to college and I took a course other than general psychology, I was really like, maybe this isn't for me. So yeah, I guess moral of that story and those stories is your interests can change, and that's completely okay. College is about experimenting, seeing what works for you, what doesn't in terms of your academics. And yeah, I guess now getting back to that episode after that whole advice column, what's life like for you as a political science major?
Um, I think that a lot of political science majors are like obsessed with getting internships in government offices or think tanks or like places like that. So a lot of it is just like people searching for internships in those sort of um, situations. But in terms of what we study, a lot of it is political theory, but a lot of it isn't. So I think my favorite classes have been studying UK politics, where we get to learn about the structure of UK government and how they pass laws through parliament and all that. And I also like a lot of the policy classes that we take. So like there's a class called Lessons from Europe where we talk about how Europe is different from the United States, so specifically regarding like healthcare and how a lot of the countries there have like 100% coverage for everyone because well, I don't know 100% like coverage for everyone because they like have a different system than we do here. So it's just interesting to learn about that. And I think we also talked about fun fact, in Portugal, they have um what's the word for not illegal? Oh, they've decriminalized all drugs. I think it was in 2001 or something because they had a super high rate of HIV coming from like using needles for drugs. But then when they decriminalized all drugs, they were able to implement rehab programs for people. And then their like, drug-induced death rate, like, plummeted because they were so successful, and I think it's just interesting how that compares to policies in the US, like this "war on drugs," quote, unquote, where, like, we just throw people in jail for, like, anything. Maybe that
Mhm.
was a hot take, I don't know, whatever.
No, yeah, it's definitely interesting to hear kind of about what other countries are doing versus like what the US is doing. You always hear that the US is maybe a little, how do I put this? A little maybe more right leaning than some other countries, specifically like in the western parts of Europe, things like that. So it's definitely interesting to hear about what how you're learning about these things and then also kind of how it applies to government and society today.
Yes.
Uh, what's something that you wish you knew about being a political science major before you started?
I wish I knew that it was gonna be a bit more theory based than I thought because I think in specifically at my university, we have to take a poli sci 101 class where we talk about like classical theorists, so like Voltaire and Immanuel Kant and like John Locke and all those people, and it's just I mean, in my opinion, I, like, really didn't like it, and I took that my freshman year, I think, in the fall, and I almost that class really, really made me hate poli sci because I was like, "If this is gonna be political science, then I'm not gonna major in it because this is atrocious." But that was just, like, one class, and that was, like, just learning the basics of it. So, I think once you get past, in my opinion, what is, like, boring theory a lot of people do like it, I just didn't. But once you get past that, you can really explore your own interests specifically. So, like, for me, like I said, talking about other, like, policies and stuff, but a lot of people choose to continue with the theory route.
Are there a lot of kind of routes that you can take in regards to like how you design your specific plan of study within the major?
Um I guess there are, cause you can study a bunch of different things. It's like a large field, so there's a lot of stuff going on. But for me, it was a mix of a lot. So I was taking like international political economy, but at the same time taking gender and political theory. So you can like go a lot of different ways for sure.
It definitely seems like, at least from what I've heard, that this major is really kind of a survey almost of a lot of different concepts and ideas in the political science spectrum. So it is cool to kind of see how you can navigate your way through these different courses to kind of create a path that's best suited for you in terms of where you want to go after college. And I
Yeah.
guess kind of along the lines of that, what are career options for students who are political science majors?
A lot of people go to work in government offices, so like that might be a legislative office or working in like a congressperson's office or stuff like that, or like senators or whatever. A lot of people also choose to work at law offices, maybe as like a paralegal or, just like a general assistant. I'm not really sure. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different places you could work, think tanks and like I don't know, you could even just go into academia and pursue like higher education afterwards. It's really up to you. There's a lot of different careers you could do.
It definitely is nice how kind of open that field is in terms of like what you can do with it. Because especially compared to like a lot of more specialized majors that we've been talking about, like Evan's computer science major, which we talked about previously, Olivia's custom design major. I guess those are a little bit more specialized in terms of what you can do with it, but it is nice how political science is kind of a little bit more broad, how you can kind of do what you want with that.
Yes.
In terms of, I guess you know, what's next for you in regards to your political science major? So, I guess in simpler terms, how are you going to use your political science major as you go on to do what you want to do?
Well, as I've said in previous episodes, I'm going to law school hopefully this fall, maybe after, who knows. But yeah, so I think a lot of poli sci majors choose to go to law school, and the reason being that once you have that foundation of policy and theory and everything, going on to learn about the actual laws that we have in the country isn't too far off base. So I think that they're just related in that sense. And like I said also about the religion major, once you have critical thinking skills and writing skills and all that, it makes it a lot easier to pursue law school. And just like they're in the same wheelhouse. Like once you're learning about current events and that, law school also discusses those similar themes.
It's definitely cool to see how a lot of these majors, especially as we've seen in like the humanities, how they are providing you guys these kind of soft transferable skills that you could apply to any job, any career, any graduate school, things like that.
Yes.
Just because I'm a little curious, out of your two majors, which one do you prefer, religion or political science?
Good question. It really depends on the class, I think, because I've taken poli sci classes that were really not interesting to me, but I've also taken religion classes that I didn't exactly like. But most of the time, I think they're both pretty great. Maybe I think poli sci is just a little bit more challenging because it's like sometimes more rigid.
Hmm.
But like both of them aren't rigid, but poli sci is just a little bit more rigid, but they're still not rigid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I think probably religion just because you can go a lot of directions with it, specifically with papers. Like, I wrote a paper about what Saint Augustine or Augustine, however you pronounce it. I mean, my professor pronounces it Augustine, but whatever. So, how Saint Augustine would react to COVID and like the like recommendation that people should not go to church because it'll like put people in danger. So I wrote about that and how he might react to it. I mean, there's just you can get really creative with religion, but poli sci is fun too.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see kind of like I don't want to call it an interplay, but like how like religion and poli sci, and I guess really all other majors for that matter, kind of do have like the parts that you like, the parts that you don't like. And I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to you're not gonna like every aspect of your major, probably. There's always gonna be some aspects that you don't like. For me with biology, there's things that I don't like, and I'm sure that every student can relate to that. But as long as you are kind of passionate about these major themes within your major, I think that that's just kind of an important way to see if this is really what you want to do. And I think that Deeraiya can really attest to that with the fact that in both of her majors, and correct me if I'm wrong, obviously, but in both of your majors, obviously you don't like every part of it, but you still like the majority of both of them enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that was an inside scoop into the life of a political science major. If you guys have any questions, definitely feel free to write them in the comments below. You can also contact us via our website. Links for everything can be found in the description. Um, yeah, Deeraiya, thank you so much for coming on. If you guys want to hear more of her, definitely go check out her last two episodes when we talked about pre-law, when we talked about her other major religion, and right now you can also find her on our new series, which replaced Roundtable, which is probably out by now. But since we're recording this so far in advance, you guys probably just don't know, or at least we don't know the name of it. But definitely check her out. Check out all the other I feel like learning content. And yeah, Dara, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me, Daniel.
Thank you for watching this episode of Inside Scoop. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all of our new releases. New episodes of Inside Scoop will be available every Friday. Also, be sure to check out other content from I Feel Like Learning as well as all the other I Feel Like productions. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep staying informed, and keep on learning.